Welcome to The Explainer. Let's jump right in because today we're unpacking a really fascinating engineering document that completely rethinks how we treat municipal sewage. Now, I know, sewage might not sound like the most glamorous topic in the world. It's definitely not dinner table conversation. But the engineering behind keeping our water clean is absolutely vital. We're going to explore a brilliantly structured source document detailing a brand new technology, and we'll map out exactly how it works. So let's dive into this.
Take a look at this number on screen. 20 to 30%. Now, you might be wondering, what does that mean? Well, it actually represents a massive, totally hidden environmental crisis. You see, during cold winter months, the efficiency of our conventional sewage treatment plants absolutely plummets. It drops all the way down to just 20 or 30%. That means the vast majority of our waste isn't even being treated during the colder parts of the year. Crazy, right?
To understand how we can fix this terrifying drop in efficiency, here's our roadmap for today. First, the winter sewage problem. Second, the RANA process solution. Third, step-by-step treatment. Fourth, advantages and disadvantages. And finally, number 5, fertilizer and future impact. Let's get going.
Section 1. The winter sewage problem. Cold water, high pollution.
We need to start by looking at exactly why winter is such a harsh season for our infrastructure. The answer actually lies in a pretty fascinating discovery outlined in our source text. While studying for a master's degree in civil and environmental engineering, the author uncovered a super crucial fact. Cold water simply kills the bacteria needed to decompose waste. Traditional treatment relies on bacteria to break down the hard molecules of dissolved organic and inorganic loads. But when winter hits, those microbes just can't survive the freezing temps.
So this creates a really dangerous domino effect. First off, the bacteria die off. And because the bacteria aren't there to eat the waste, untreated sewage flows directly into our rivers. Compounding the problem, during the winter, rivers often lack their natural diluting flow. This causes biological oxygen demand, or what we call BOD loads, to spike to highly dangerous levels. It's essentially a perfect storm for water pollution.
Section 2. The RANA process solution, heat and algae.
This brings us to the hero of our story today, a really clever engineering solution designed specifically to beat this cold weather crisis. Enter RASAP, which stands for the RANA Activated Sludge and Algae Process. This is a treatment technology that fundamentally changes the game. Instead of relying solely on traditional activated sludge, which, as we just learned, fails in the winter, this new method swaps in activated algae to do the heavy lifting. It's a brilliant pivot. It uses nature's own mechanisms to solve a massive engineering bottleneck.
Take a good look at this blueprint right here. This is going to be our visual map as we track the journey of sewage, from the exact moment it enters the plant on the right side of the diagram to the moment it leaves. Don't worry if it looks kind of complex right now. We're going to break it down piece by piece.
Section 3. Step-by-step treatment. Follow the flush.
We're going to track the water as it moves through this incredible facility. The entire treatment process is neatly divided into these 5 distinct units, and they work together in a continuous loop. 1. The bar screen chamber. 2. Primary sedimentation. 3. The heating and aeration tank. 4. The floating algae bed. And 5. The sludge drying beds.
Zooming in on our schematic, we see the beginning of the line. First, the incoming sewage hits the bar screen chamber. Think of this like a giant physical strainer that removes bulky items. We're talking plastics, rubber, vegetation, and boulders. Once all the big stuff is out of the way, the water flows into the primary sedimentation tank. Notice that baffle wall and the hopper-shaped bottom there? That specific shape allows the undissolved organic and inorganic impurities to literally just settle out at the bottom, where pumps can easily extract it.
Now we enter step 3, the heating and aeration tank. This essentially creates a micro buffet, and honestly, it's the core innovation of RASAP. When the incoming sewage is below 20 degrees Celsius, this tank warms that cold water up to a balmy 35 degrees. It also uses heating rods to churn the water, which introduces atmospheric oxygen. By doing this, it creates the absolute perfect environment for microorganisms to survive the winter chill and feast on those dissolved impurities.
Building on that, the water flows into the next tank, which holds the real secret sauce of the operation. This tank utilizes a 6-inch thick bed of floating algae. Because it's algae, it uses sunlight and photosynthesis to grow, happily consuming the remaining dissolved organic and inorganic matter as food. As the microorganisms and algae naturally die off during this process, they settle at the bottom. The author actually notes that adding this algae layer pushes the treatment efficiency to almost 100%. Finally, looking back at our diagram, we reach the end of the line. Those settled remnants from the previous tanks are pumped to the sludge drying beds. The source document details that these beds contain 3 or more platforms with perforated pipes. This allows the activated sludge to be cleverly recycled right back to the primary sedimentation tank, continuously increasing the overall efficiency of the entire treatment process. It's a fantastic feedback loop.
Section 4. Advantages and disadvantages. Weighing the tech.
So we clearly see how it works mechanically, but how does this stack up against our current infrastructure? Well, this comparison is staggering. When compared directly to conventional activated sludge processes, like the ones currently used in places like Delhi, RASAP requires only 1/10 of the energy. Seriously, 1/10. And remember, while conventional plants suffer massive efficiency drops in the winter, RASAP's heated tanks allow it to hit near 100% efficiency year-round.
Looking at the broader pros, our source text highlights some overwhelming positives. Beyond just constant cold weather efficiency, the process is perfect for regions with plenty of sunny days to feed that algae. It consistently outputs incredibly high-quality treated water, vastly improving things like BOD, dissolved and undissolved solids, turbidity, and nitrates. Plus, the overall cost of procurement and construction is significantly lower. However, as an explainer, we absolutely must look at the whole picture impartially. The source document does explicitly note a primary disadvantage. This plant produces 0 electricity and no gases. Why? Well, because as you might have noticed on the blueprint earlier, it totally lacks sludge digestion reactors and gas holders. Traditional plants often burn sludge to create biogas, but RASAP doesn't do that.
Section 5. Fertilizer and future impact. A feature, not a bug.
So what seems like a disadvantage on paper actually reveals this process's most profound environmental benefit. Because the RASAP plant isn't digesting and burning the sludge for gas, that matter doesn't just vanish. Instead, the plant generates huge quantities of eco-friendly fertilizer. And we're not talking about just any fertilizer. It is highly rich in essential agricultural nutrients like phosphorus and nitrogen. Now, why does this matter to you and me? Because of the incredible agricultural impact. Farmers can take this byproduct and use it to replace dangerous synthetic fertilizers. Furthermore, because of how the sludge is processed, this fertilizer provides rich microbes that are incredibly helpful in actively regenerating healthy soils. We're literally taking a waste problem and turning it into an agricultural solution.
Looking one last time at the whole blueprint, we see the true beauty of the RANA activated sludge and algae process. It's a brilliant, self-contained loop. It solves the massive hidden problem of winter water pollution, it requires a fraction of the energy to run, and it simultaneously produces a byproduct that heals our farmlands. It's a real engineering marvel, born out of a simple master's thesis observation about cold water and bacteria.
Which leaves us with this final provocative thought to ponder today. Given the crippling inefficiency of our current winter infrastructure, could replacing traditional sludge with a 6-inch bed of heated algae be the exact key we need to save our winter rivers? The data from our source today certainly makes a compelling case. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking questions and never stop learning.